Oh, respected friends, welcome you all. What we have in Shastras is the experience of the sages, saints of the Mukta Sthiti. And this is how they experienced. And thus they got freed from all the bondages in which we are. Therefore, what is their experience which they are explaining? That's what we have to try to understand. What are the sadhanas they are telling us to reach to that experience? That also we have to understand and do sadhana. And what is the stage of moksha they are in? We have to reach to going away from our present state of the bondage limitations. You all are trying daily to come and tune through the Shastra to this most difficult but profound, tough but beautiful Adhyatmika Jnanam. Great appreciations, congratulations. May the divine Sri Rama Vasishtha Adi bless us that our intellects become day by day Sukshma Shuddha to be able to grasp all these knowledges as and when as they are given. Let's continue seeing this Leelopakhyanam Yuddha Samanantara Samsmruthi Anubhava Varnanam Rama Vasishtha Samvada followed by Saraswati Mata and Raja Viduratha Samvada. Through all this, the Jnanam about the Paramatma Tattva and Jnanam about everything other than Paramatma Tattva, that it is only Mithya. Let us try to gain. Good patience you have, who will in today's world have time and patience, inclination and interest for this sublime knowledge. But from this side, one thing we can say, keeping aside this knowledge pursuit, anything else we do, whatever we get is temporary. It's only going to end leaving us again in the same square one state. This knowledge, how much ever you keep far away, one day, Goom Pirake, every one of us have to come for this only. Then, when we are getting an opportunity, why not utilize it right now? And in advance, let's prepare in the mind that it's a tough job. There will be a lot of difficulties, pains while going through because of our debilities, our inabilities, our inefficiencies, our lack of presently having qualification, etc. Be prepared. Yet, when we try, all those obstacles and impediments will be able to cross. Like when you learn driving of a car, everything is difficult to remember to put the belt and where to put the key, how to put on, where is the hand brake, where is the leg brake, accelerator, clutch, how much tension everything is. The front mirror, the rear mirror, bonnet and dashboard, everything you have to know. Mainly the road, you cannot go into the service road and into the fields. On the main road, in your lane, sane, you have to do driving. Lane driving is sane driving, isn't it? Is it tough? Is it so easy in the beginning? But how you go through in the open ground? The driver, teaching driver, uh, teacher, driving teacher teaches one by one. So you love to learn driving, so you go through all. In a 6, 7, 8 months time, all those fears go away. You will be able to drive at least on the empty roads. एक साल 2 साल में Vedanta also is like that. It will take some time, but if you are consistent, persisting, all the obstacles, difficulties go away. The subtle truths, because of our consistency and faith in the divinity, will be revealed to us. पक्का. अब ऐसा किया है तो नहीं मिलेगा, तो कैसा किया तो मिलेगा? और इसको मिलने के लिए ऐसा नहीं करोगे, तो फिर क्या करने से वो मिलेगा? isn't it? This is the way everybody got. There's no other way. So let us do this way and let us get it. And to get it, if this is the way, living this way, if any other way you do, how will we get this liberation giving jnanam? And without jnana and mukti, life is not mukta, life is not fulfilled, isn't it? So, all the limitations, all problems, all miseries, pains will go away. And remember, when the bud has to blossom, it has to go through the difficulties. When the egg has to hatch from within and come out, shake, break this, it is tough. When the small bachda born, for it to stand on its four legs and start, crawling, running, it is difficult. For a plant to stand erect in the beginning is difficult, but all of them are trying and teaching us that you keep trying, you can achieve everything, anything. Let us not give up once you take up spirituality. This is the rule number one. Rule number two, anywhere any difficulties, refer to the rule number one. स्टार्ट किया तो छोड़ना नहीं बस. I am learning this. Started the study of Shastras and every day doing 6, 7, 8 classes is a, it's not an easy thing. Everybody, human being only with all limitations. So tough it is. So challenging it is. ना कुछ याद नहीं रहता. And every day health problem this that will go on. But मैं करूँगा ये. जो भी हो जाए अपना क्लास लगे रहना है. And it is taking care. It is helping. And every day the beginning is so tough. And every day end is so blissful. That day, in spite of all toughness or difficulties, we tried our best. That joy that I have tried my best supersedes every joy. Let us try. Om. 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 ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मभक्तियोगधर्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः ॐ यैर्मे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्व वेदान्ताः सच्चास्त्राः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् ॐ श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनामवरानने ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तब्रह्मभक्तियोगधर्म विद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. श्रीरामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे श्री वशिष्ठ विश्वामित्र वाल्मीकि वेदव्यास वामदेव नारदादि समस्त वेदांत उपनिषद योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणादि आचार्येभ्यो नमः. संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषद योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्ष कैवल्य प्राप्त्यर्थं श्रुति स्मृति पुराणेतिहास संतवाङ्मयोक्त साध्य साधनानुभव सिद्ध्यर्थं तत्रोक्त ऋषिमुनि गुरुदेवता दर्शनानुग्रहानुभव प्राप्त्यर्थं सनातन धर्मस्य विश्वव्याप्ति विश्वाध्यात्मिक प्रगत्यर्थं धर्म संस्थापकानां नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थं श्रीराम मंदिरवत् शिवकृष्णादि मंदिरादीनां पुनरवाप्ते तेषु निरंतर शास्त्र अध्ययनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातनधर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रु विघ्न शाश्वत समूल निर्मूलन पूर्वक भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्मात् क्षणादारभ्य वैदिक हैंदव संस्कृतेः धर्ममोक्षपुरुषार्थानां सुसंप्रतिष्ठावाप्त्यर्थम् अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां सङ्कल्पितसत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयः तेषां हृदये परब्रह्मादीनां प्रति भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्मसाफल्यार्थम् अनेकशास्त्राणाम् अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मध्ये श्री वाल्मीकि महर्षि विरचित श्रीराम वशिष्ठ संवाद रूप श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण स्मृति मोक्ष प्रकरण शास्त्रस्य पारायणम् अध्ययनं साधना प्रयत्नं मुक्त्यर्थं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। मंगलाचरण श्लोकाः। ओम यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शनदृश्यभोः कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञप्त्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति सीकरा यस्मात् आनन्दस्याम्बरे वनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। दिवि भूमौ तथाकाशे बहिरन्तश्च मे विभुः यो विभात्यवभासात्मा तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः। सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तमेकमजरं नित्यं विभुं शाश्वतं प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मरसायनं सुखगनं पूर्णं परं पावनं स्वात्मज्योतिरनादिमध्यनिधनं मायाविलासैर्मुहुः विश्वाकारमपास्तमायमभयं वन्दे विशुद्धं पदं। ज्ञानादेवात्मनो मोक्षः न तु कर्मसमाधिभिः अज्ञातोऽसौ स्वसदृश्यं सृजत्येवेति कीर्त्यते। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे वसिष्ठमुनये नित्यं नमस्कुर्महे। विश्वामित्रमुनिं शरण्यमनघं भूयो नमस्याम्यहम्। तस्मै वाल्मीकये श्रीगुरुतमगुरवे भूरिभावैर्नताः स्मः। पूर्णानन्दस्वभावः स्वजनहितकृते माययोपात्तकायः कारुण्यादुद्धिदीर्षुर्जनमनवरतं मोहपङ्के निमग्नम् आविश्यान्तर्वसिष्ठं बहिरपि कलयन्न शिष्यभावं वितेने यः संवादेन शास्त्रामृत जलधिममुं रामचन्द्रं प्रपद्ये। ओम श्रीरामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्री वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः। श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्रम तृतीय उत्पत्ति प्रकरणम लीलोपाख्याने समर समनंतर संस्मृत्यनुभव वर्णनं नाम चत्वारिंशः सर्गः। Rama's Prashna, how they entered through that small randhra. Bhagavan Vasishta's answer, slowly, steadily, taking us to the actual knowledge that reality alone is real, everything else is on that mithya. When one in that way, step by step, becomes sukshma from the stula obstructions will not obstruct. That's the answer given. In that itself, we are indicated that thus to solve the stula problems, you have to rise from the stula to the sukshma level. Problems, limitations, all of them go away, and the facilities, conveniences of the sukshma sthiti, which are abundant, they will be obtained. Okay. Now we'll do from the verse number Krishna Vasudeva 13 onwards. In 13th verse, what is said? Yatha samvit tatha chittam satathavasthitin gata paramena prayatnena niyatenyadasham punaha. Yatha samvit, our conscience, our thinking, our convictions. That way is our chitta. Satatha avasthitin gata. Then that chitta in its acceptance of the grossness gets settled, gets habituated, feels it is comfortable there, even though it's getting all the problems of the stulata. Then, from this seemingly well settled stulata, endowed with all problems, we, by our own efforts, have to go back into the sukshmata for lesser problems. Okay, that's what I said. Paramena prayatnena niyate punaha niyate anyadasha. Anyadasha means the earlier state of our ativahika sthiti, even beyond the chidakasha sthiti. Paramena prayatnena niyate. With extreme efforts, we can reach back to our earlier state. So, by saying this, Vasishthaji is endorsing what we frequently say that Adhyatmic sadhana, no doubt, is tougher, but not impossible and very essential. Bhagavan says, Paramena Prayatne. Because Thula is easy to live at the Sula Sharira level. And we made it easy with our continuous practice. We don't know for how many lives. Like in this life too, from birth till now, whatever the education we got, whatever the trainings we got at home, every one of them directly, indirectly training us only to accept ourselves as Sthula Sharira only. We are brought like that. Everybody around also are living like that. Very rare two or three Mahatmas are there who live life at the self level, not at the स्थूल शरीर level. अब एक आध ही है तो हम सोचते हैं it is not for my, it's not my bite, I live as स्थूल शरीर only. That's the problem. But those who are getting a chance to study such shastras should start feeling, believing that the divine is blessing, telling us to hold on to the path, have faith, try little by little, you will be able to achieve. So, paramena prayatnena punaha anyadasham niyate understood. Now, this thought is explained through this example which we saw yesterday and day before also, so beautiful. That on the rope we have seen the serpent and are frightened. How long will be frightened and how long will continue seeing the serpent? So long we don't see the substratum, the rope, by following all the techniques which take us to the knowledge of the rope as indicated by the teacher. So here I have seen serpent and frightened. In a minute, the guru came. Who is the guru? Who knows that it is rope only. He told, no, no, it cannot be at the 10th floor. How can the serpent come? It's a rope only. Now this is how you go near it, touch it and see. If I do what is said in 1 2 minutes, immediately I realize that it is not a snake, it's only rope. The snake problem is gone, which was imagination projection. Now, if I don't listen to him or nobody is there to tell me, and if I don't follow what he says, therefore, if I don't realize the rope as rope, the serpent will continue as long as the rope is not realized. So too, our jiva bhava, our deha bhava, our samsara will continue as long as we don't realize self, just like the dream will suffer us, trouble us till we don't wake up. Anna, that misunderstanding between two people will continue for decades together till they sit together and sort out with the correct understanding. That here I was mistaken, I am sorry, and I also was sorry, as I did wrong, this is my mistake, let's forgive each other. If they sit for 1 minute after the issue happened, immediately it will have been sorted out. If it is not done and that load is carried, for 30 years also the son and father don't talk. The mother and daughter don't talk. Such people should go and jump in a well. That will be well for them and others too. How can be so much of ego, prestige, that 1 minute you don't sit and discuss and say, yes, yes, I am wrong. Why ego? If you are wrong, you accept it. हो गया ना, sort out होता ना. There the ego, here it is intellectual laziness. In spirituality, it is the intellectual laziness that we don't want to study the Shastras, we don't want to deeply inquire and contemplate. These lazinesses are the reasons that the snake like world continues to be taken by us as real on the rope like reality. That's what. Sarpa eka pratyayo rajvam asarpa pratyaye balat vivartate. Nivartate. अन्यथा तो एषः तिष्ठति एव यथा स्थितः. तिष्ठति एव यथा स्थितः is very solid substantial sentence. जिस नोशन में हम हैं उसी नोशन में रहते ही रहेंगे till we don't think and take up the higher realities. तिष्ठति एव यथा स्थितः. तो our यथा स्थिति that देहोस्मि तिष्ठति till what? Till we die. Thereafter, wherever we are born, this will tishtati only. If I am born as buffalo or rat or cat, I will be living as deha only. And somehow, after some 10,000 lives as every pashu, again I come back as human, continuing tishtati eva as a dehos. It is two ways. One, knowingly or unknowingly, when you are done pujas, upasanas, and some selfless seva, that miracle is there in the world that the divine grace comes either as a jignasa in our mind or the arrival of some guru in our life. Most of the times it is second one. From within the arrival of jignasa is very rare cases. Most of the times the outside se koi guru aate hai. He will give the upadesha that you are not the samsari deha, you are the mukta atma. That we have to start believing. That we have to start thinking, understanding, accepting. In this way, slowly, slowly, this is not a snake, it is a rope. So too, I am not the Dehendriya Manabuddhi Yukta Jiva, I am the Paramatma. That we have to realize. That Ati Prayatnena, then if it is not done, you will continue to be deluded eternally. That we have to understand both. प्रयत्न करना पड़ेगा, करोगे तो फल मिलेगा, नहीं करोगे यहीं पड़े रहोगे, यहीं सड़े रहोगे. पढ़ो तो आगे बढ़ो, नहीं पढ़ो तो यहीं सड़ो. As simple as that. Beautiful topics. So here the context is the Leela with her Prayatna from Aham Leela Sharirosmi to Ativahika Asmi. She has risen herself by doing sadhanas of Nirvikalpata indicated by Mother Saraswati. That's how she could travel with her even to different lokas. And now here she could enter through the small chidra into the palace. After entering, what will happen? That will come later. But usse pehle, because Ramji asked, Vaashishtha is answering. It can be anybody's question, so answer can be required for everybody. Next, simple one by one thing. कि यथा संवित तथा चित्तम यथा चित्तम तथे हितम. See, as our conscience, so our thoughts. As the thoughts, so our actions. Those actions mold the thing. Like a pot maker, when he sees a mud, his conscience is to make the pot. That is what comes to his chitta. Then he takes the wheel and danda and all, adds water to that mud, molds it. With the same mud, if he is a farmer, he will put it in the fields. If it is a maker of the house, mud houses in the olden days, before all this was there, we all lived in childhood mud house only. I remember we made the mud house in 3.5 days. तो ऐसे में मट्टी में पानी डाल के कुंदल कुंदल के उसको तैयार करके फिर इतना इतना बना के देते थे. Then they will be putting it there. And all that's done, plastering with that cow dung and all. What a ऊपर से thatched roof, so cool it is. So such people when they see mud, his conscience is a wall. So his chitta vritti is a wall. So his action is to make a wall. And a better example is the money. The 500 rupees note is common in everybody's hand with its 500 rupee value. But each one's conscience. है ना, यथा संवित तथा चित्तम, so are his thoughts. यथा चित्तम तथा ईहितम. Iha means चेष्टा, कर्म. isn't it? With that 500 rupee note, 500 were there, 5 lakhs and 5 crores of actions can be done. Depends on each one's chitta, isn't it? Right from tearing that note and throwing away up to highest level, mein, using it for some puja, giving to that brahmana, like that, lakhs of things can be done, in which the 500 expenses are there or 500 work. कुछ भी कर सकते हो, होटल में जाके खा सकते हो, कुछ कपड़े खरीद सकते हो, कहीं घूमने जा सकते हो, किसी को दान दे सकते हो, या चुरा लेके किसी को भोंक सकते हो, या पॉइजन लेके आत्महत्या कर सकते हो. अब हाउ मेनी थिंग्स यू कैन डू विथ दैट 500 रुपी. यथा संवित तथा चित्तम, यथा चित्तम तथेहितम. Therefore, our actions, like we are the body, we are the senses, is because of our chitta. And our chitta is because our conscience. Conscious means the vasanamaya cause. But in spite of the vasanas and chitta and actions, making us behave or feel that we are Sharira, still our real reality that we are Chidakasha is undisturbed. It always remains so for us to retrace back. Therefore, go back to your original is the Vedanta. Like in spite of remaining it as ornament for 10, 20 years, that ornament substratum, the gold, remains as the gold in it or not. That's the beauty. बालं प्रति अपि संसिद्धम एतत् को कहा केन न अनुभूत कहा न अनुभूतवान. Even children know it that the action depends on chitta, chitta depends on samskar. तुम तो बाल तो नहीं हो, तो 15 साल का हो गए हो. Rama is addressed by Vaashishtha. Right? Continue. यह पुनः स्वप्न संकल्प पुरुषः प्रतिमा कृतिः आकाशमात्रकाकारः सः कथं केन रोध्यते. So, यह पुनः, the one whoever is स्वप्न संकल्प पुरुषः प्रतिमा कृतिः. स्वप्न संकल्प पुरुषः, like that through his sadhana, who has discovered himself to be akashamatra akaraha, like called as the adivahika deha, saha, such being, katham and kena rodhyate, how and by whom he will be stopped. Like in this swapna, you just travel without being stopped anywhere. वहाँ कोई आप प्लेन में जाते हो, there is no question ask टिकट लिया कि नहीं. And in stream you are found here. In next second you are already there in your uncle's house. नहीं, कोई पूछता नहीं उसको. That is how the Sukshma Deha in the Swapna, Sankalpa Deha. In the same way, the one through sadhana transcended the Sthula Sthiti. Akasha Matraka Akaraha he has become. Nobody can stop his mobility. Sthula cannot stop his mobility. यह पुनः स्वप्न संकल्प पुरुषः प्रतिमा आकृतिः आकाशमात्र का आकारः सः कथम केन रोध्यते. So this is an explanation for the status of Saraswati Mata and Leela, that they are Akashamatra Sharira, so nothing can stop them. They can pierce through and go. Okay. Then next one, बहुत बहुत important श्लोक. कल भी हमने इसको टच किया. चित्तमात्र शरीरं तो सर्वस्यैव हि सर्वतः विद्यते वेदनात् चैतत् क्वचिदेतीव हृद्गतात्. Very interesting. Chittamatram shariram tu sarvasya hi sarvatah. Sarvasya of all beings. Sarvatah everywhere. First their sharira is chitta sharira only. Okay. Then vidyate vedana acha etat. The same chitta sharira through its sankalpa only projected the stula sharira and that jiva identified with it. In the same way, Vedanacha etat kvachideti iva rudgatato, if one can become introverted and do the due sadhanas of Sakshi Bhava, etc., for sufficient period of time, then he will find himself again back as Chitta Sharira. In that effort, the reality given to the solidity or the solid slowly goes away. Then, for others, he appears to be solid, but for him, he knows that he is Chitta Sharira now. He is moving like all of us. He is following all the earth rules like all of us. ग्रेविटेशनल रूल सब चलते हैं, बट उनको पता है मैं अब चित्त शरीर हूं, मैं स्थूल देह नहीं हूं. वो अनुभव उनको आ जाता है, करना पड़ता है साधना. दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. चित्तमात्र शरीरम तो सर्वस्य एव हि सर्वतः. एवरीबडी इज एवरीवेयर. देयर ओरिजिनल इज चित्त शरीर ओनली. विद्यते वेदनाच्च एतत्. एतत् स्थूल शरीरम वेदनात् विद्यते. बिकॉज ऑफ हिज प्लानिंग concept, it has appeared like sthula sharira. Kvachit eti iva hrudgatat. Again, if he goes back into his contemplative level, inquiry level, vicharana level, he will know that I am chitta only. Like the Swapna Purusha thinks he is Swapna Purusha. When he, through some means, wakes up, he knows I was never that Swapna Purusha. I am this Jagrat Purusha. That Swapna Purusha is just illusion, delusion. Think about it. Next, यथाभिमतमेवास्य भवत्यस्तमयोदयम् आदिसर्गे स्वभावोत्थम पश्चाद्वैतैक्यकारणम्. This sloka has lot of things to convey. Let us see one or two. First, यथा अभिमतम एव अस्य भवति अस्तमय उदयम्. So, it is by our own abhimata and prayatna, our willingness and effort, that Udaya Astamaya happens of us into the Stulata, into the Sukshmata. Knowingly or unknowingly, we do this karma, that karma, which is our Abhimata, that pushes us to project the Stula Sharira and we identify with it. And when the time of the Stula Sharira is over, we leave it. Once we are dead, Stula Sharir to nahi hai na hamara. That time, Ativahika Deha only. But not like a yogi who has discovered his Ativahikata through yoga sadhana. This Ativahikata of the Mruta Jiva is under compulsion. Still, he will be carried by or guided by his vasanas only again to enter and identify with the next Deha, and he continues eking out his karmas, karma phalas. But in between two Dehas, he is in the Ativahika sthita only. So here Bhavati Astamaya Udayam. Udaya of the Sharira and Astamaya of the Sharira happens Yatha Abhimatam Eva. Here Abhimata means in the ignorance when we do, we are compelled by the karma phala. The other meaning of Abhimata is in the wisdom when we do, it is as per our sadhana that we can go beyond this Stula Sharira and discover our Chitta Sthiti, Adivayika Sthiti, and from there, depending on our want, again to express as Stula Sharira, to accomplish some things, we can even do that. That's the meaning of Yatha Abhimata. Eva Asya Bhavati Astamayodayam. Now, the next is important. Adi Sarge Swabhavottham Paschad Dvaitaikya Karanam. Adi Sarge, in the first or the beginning of creation, it is pure Paramatma's Maya Shakti. At that time, it is the Mula Prakriti Sthiti, one without second only, Avyakta. Right? Then, Adya Sarge Swabhavottham Paschat. From that Maya instigated by Paramatma only, Dvaita Aikya Karanam, slowly the multiplicity got projected. Multiplicity got started projected. In the beginning, all multiplicity was at the thought level. Only after Stula, Panchamahabhutas have come, then only the grossness has come. Before that, all Sukshma. And at the Avyakta Mula Prakriti level, when all the three gunas are in Samyavastha, that he cannot be even named also, mentioned also. Mula Prakriti. When that gets activated by Paramatma Sankalpa, then the Mula Prakriti becomes Mahatattva, Mahatattva becomes Samashti Hankara, Samashti Ahankara gets divided into three, called as Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. From the Sattvic Ahankara, all Adhisthana Devatas come. From Rajasic Ahankara, all Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Antakarana comes. From Tamasic Ahankara, the Tanmatras come. Up to this, the whole Srishti is Sukshma. These Tanmatras, from them, the Sthula Panchamahabhutas will come. Those Sthula Mahabhutas, when they go through Panchikaranam, then Sthula Panchamahabhutas are made. So Tanmatras, Panchamahabhutas, Panchikarana, Panchikruta Mahabhutas. From the Panchikruta Mahabhutas, these Sthula Shariras, which we see, are created. But before that, all Sukshma. And all these Prakriya, whether it is Adhisthana Devatas, Vijnana Karmendriyas, all of that is Jada Prakriti until and unless Paramatma expresses through them, make them functional. Like in your house, all electrical fittings you have done. Everything. Variety. Coolers, ACs, refrigerators, lights and fans, geysers, electrical stoves, सब. But they're all jada. कोई काम नहीं करेगा. Till that meter is connected, the bijli flows. Isn't it? Same way, only when Paramatma enters, the Adhisthana Devatas become activated. The Indriyas become activated. The Antakaranas become the activated. If the Paramatma doesn't enter, they are all Jada. Paramatma entering means what? For him to enter, he should not be there first of all. Then only you can say entry. Like if you enter your house means you are not there. Then only you enter. In case of Paramatma, though we use the word Paramatma enters, it is not entry like as if he was not there. It is only he is everywhere there all the time. If he is all pervading, he has to be there. Only expressing there like that. Right? Like when I tune my radio, then the song enters to my radio and comes out through the mic that I listen. That is that song entered in the radio that it was not there earlier. The radio waves are already there, but when you have tuned it, then the song came out. Isn't it? Same way, here, Paramatma is everywhere there. Through that conditioning, he expresses that way. Through the eye as the vision, through the ears as the listening, etc. These are all Indriyas. So too through Indra as Indra Devata, through Varuna, Vayu, they're all equipments. Just like a finance minister. Finance minister is a post ministry. Anybody goes there, he works there as that finance minister for the country. Post is permanent, beings change. In the same way, through all these equipments, he only expresses. If Paramatma doesn't express, they won't work. None of them will have whatever they stand for. This is the meaning of Adi Sarge Swabhava Uttam Paschad Dvaita Aikya Karanam. Dvaita Aikya Karanam, earlier only one homogeneous thing, later on it has appeared as this Dvaita. Therefore, one appearing as Dvaita is Prapancha, not created. Like one waking mind appearing as seer and seen is called this Sapna is not created, it is projected. Everything is projected only. Like if you are making a Rama's idol with all his dresses, Dhanurbana, let us say on brass or gold, you are not creating the Lord, etc. You are projecting the Lord's form on that existing material. You are not creating the pot in the mud, please. You are projecting the pot in the mud. In remove the word called creation, then you will cease to have worry about the destruction also. When you accept creations, You won't want to accept destruction, but destruction will happen, then you suffer. Pot created, broken. There is a pain. Pot is projected, the projection is rejected. No pain. Little change in the understanding and vision, all problems just wither away, dissolve. Like cotton पे आग लगाओ जैसे जल जाता है. Next, very important shloka. Chittakasham Chidakasham Akasham cha Trutiyakam Vidhi Etatrayam Ekam Tvam Avinabhavanavashat. Avinabhavanavashat. Avinabhavana means because of the impossibility of non-presence. Means behind the Bhutakasha, if the Chittakasha is not there, Bhutakasha is never existing only. Therefore, one Chittakasha only in another state expressing as Bhutakasha, like one water only in another state expressing as the water vapor or the ice block. But all the three, the water, water vapor, ice block, all the three are projected on the hydrogen oxygen molecules. Same way, चित्ताकाश का भूताकाश से इतना संबंध है. Without चित्ताकाश भूताकाश cannot be. Further, without चिदाकाश चित्ताकाश cannot be. Therefore, avinabhava navashat. Avinabhava navashat. Avinabhava navashat means one cannot be without the other. The grass cannot be without the sattler. Sattler can be without grass. Chittakasha can be without bhuta. Chidakasha can be without Chittakasha. Ultimately, Chittakasha. But though we use the words three and we express the three states of being, yet in the deeper inquiry, they are not three. Like though we experience the ice is differently, water differently, vapor differently, substratum wise, one only. थोड़ा सा समझ लेना. घन द्रव वायु स्थिति. The vayu sthiti is the sukshma sharira, karana sharira. The drava sthiti is sukshma, ghana is sthula. So simple. You all studied in chemistry. Krishna Vasudeva, Chittakasham, your conscious, sorry, Chittakasham, the mental space, Chidakasham, the conscious space, Akasham, the gross space, Tritiyakam, Vidhi Etatrayam Ekam. Ha ha. If this knowledge dawns to us, and at our own will, we are able to merge the Bhutakasha into Chitta, Chitta into Chidakasha, how nice it would be. That's called as the sadhana lakshya. Sthiti. That's called as yoga sthiti. I just am unfolding both the Chitta and Bhutakashas and unfolding the Chidakasha. Isn't it? Like example, that you are angry with one son, you scolded him, and the other fellow did well, got good marks. Immediately you enfold that anger from the son, this son, and unfold the love and talk lovingly to him. Isn't it? You are able to do it. Examples. So many places we can see. Huh? Didn't like the example? Other, you scolded your son with so much anger. Immediately the wife came with the rifle, whatever. Immediately that anger to the son is enfolded. कहिए आपका हुक्म क्या है? Immediately the humble, noble, ideal husband comes out or not? अब बताओ. Enfolding, unfolding. Like now I'm unfolding a speaker on the Shastra. After the class is over, this is unfolded. I have my other work, that personality will be unfolded. In the same way, through the Vedanta, Shravana, Dhyana, having gained the intellectual knowledge, conviction, through various yoga sadhanas, when we practically reach to the mastery of unfolding and enfolding, the life will be so beautiful. Gurus live at that level. They are in the pure conscious level. When they have to interact with the world, they unfold their interacting personality keeping that reality self within their heart. They do the interaction, they go back. Otherwise, Chidakasha, Chittakasha, Bhutakasha. In this, remember, Chidakasha is the reality. Other are that Chidakasha realities, Maya Shakti ke Karan, expressed, projected, never existing things, never really existing things. They appear, but they don't exist. Say this thing 10 times. The cinema appears on the screen, never exists. The cinema appears on the screen, never exists. Cinema appears on the screen and I see it and I go through all emotions, yet it doesn't exist. Say 10 times, then that thought will click what Vedanta says. You are seeing the cinema that is having so many scenes. You are reacting to them, you are responding to them. That's why you watch it. Humorous scene आया तो you also laugh. The miserable scene आया तो you be natural because you're always miserable only. So the you action scene आया, you also hit something next to you. Then the cups are broken. For next 1 month, you have to do BJP, Bartan Jadu Pocha at home. But all that is happening, yet you see, is it happening? Cinema is projected on the screen, yet it is not real. I am seeing it, yet it is not real. I am going through the various emotions and experiences, yet it is not real. So, too, on the reality, the entire world is projected but not real. I am seeing it, yet not real. I am going through all experiences, yet not real. This is Vedanta. When not real, then devalue. When you devalue, the mind is calm and quiet. With a calm and quiet mind, which is called pure mind, the reality is apprehended. Like just put off the TV, the cinema gone, then the stable screen is seen. Put off the TV, put on नहीं, put off कर दो, तुरंत प्रोजेक्शन चला गया, आपको अधिष्ठान दिखाई दिया. जब प्रोजेक्शन चलता है तो अधिष्ठान नहीं दिखता. When we have valued this projected as real so much, that's why it's called as see real. Why see real? Because it's not real. If it is real, you need not specially put effort to see it. It is not real, you see it as real. That's why they call it as serial. And the most interesting aspect is what the first scene of the any cinema serial is the disclaimer that this whole movie, the stories, the actors, the dialogue, all are fictitious. Any resemblance is coincidence. Therefore, no complaints accepted. डिस्क्लेमर की भाई गलती से भी कोई सिनेमा को एक अंश को भी उसको रियल नहीं लेना. एंड वी डोंट see the disclaimer throughout the movie. We take it as real and we go through. And the natak kya hai na, on that movie we still imagine that अरे ये सिनेमा ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था, हीरो को चोट नहीं करना चाहिए था, the conclusion should be like this. It is our own projection. Actual thing itself is unreal and उसके ऊपर अपन project करते हैं. And the funniest part is people sitting for hours together to discuss on the movie. That is how they are not able to realize the reality. एक प्रोजेक्शन के अंदर दूसरे प्रोजेक्शन का इतना रियलिटी देकर जो उसमें फंसे हैं, हाउ कैन दे रिजेक्ट द प्रोजेक्शंस एंड से रियलिटी? Practically we are telling truth, we are telling here without any inhibition or hesitation. Okay, चित्ताकाशम चिदाकाशम आकाशम च तृतीयकम विद्धि एतत्रयम एकम त्वम अविनाभावना वशातु. ओके, नेक्स्ट एतच्चित, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट श्लोक हो गए. एतच्चित्त शरीरत्वम विद्धि सर्वगतोदयम यथा संवेदनेच्छत्वात् यथा संवेदनोदयम. सो बेसिकली एतत् चित्त शरीरत्वम विद्धि. Whatever the sthula shariras we are saying, first it is chitta sharira. Sarvagata udayam. That alone in so many forms, grassified, projected. Exactly. This is what last 3 days we are struggling so much to understand in our afternoon Telugu class of Mandukya Upanishad. Druk is the Chaitanya Atma. Drishyam is Chittam. Druk is Chittam and its Drishyas are all the Desha Kala Vastu we see. All the Drishyas can never be registered without Chitta. Therefore, they can never exist independently. Those which can't exist independently are called as Mithya. Therefore, Drishyas are Mithya, Druk the Chittam is real. Next stage, the Chitta cannot exist without its Druk, the Chaitanya. Chaitanya Atma is the Druk, Chitta is Drishya. Like in the first step, that the Drishyas are Mithya because they can't live independently without the Chitta. Now Chitta is the Drishya. It can't live without the Truk Swarupa, Chit Swarupa Atma. Therefore, the Chitta also is Mithya. Then, if both are Mithya, Chitta and Drishya, what is real? The Chitta only. Because Chit never becomes Drishya to anything else, nor it ceases to exist. It is always there, the consciousness. Same here it is. Yatha samvedanechatvad, yatha samvedanodayam. Samvedana means not sensitivity, samyak vedana. A sankalpa, a ichha you have expressed, that gets manifested. Isn't it? थोड़ा ही सटल होना है इसको पकड़ने के लिए एग्जाम्स के द्वारा. Isn't it? An empty land. Is it not the sankalpa of the owner of the land, combined with his family members, later on with the architects and engineers, that first a mental picture of a house is made there. Thereafter, that goes onto the paper. Then it goes to the municipality and for their approval and all. है ना, प्रॉपर जो भी रिश्वत देना है दे के अप्रूव करते हो. देन द बिल्डिंग मटेरियल्स कम. तो देखते देखते in that place has not a building come in 6 months, 1 year's time? Where was the building? चित्त में ही था ना पहले. सा यथा संवेदना इच्छात्वात् यथा संवेदना उदय. आपका संवेदना में जो इच्छा है उसी का उदय. नो नेक्स्ट टू दिस योर ओन हाउस लैंड देर आर 10-20 plots. The house, the way you made a duplex, other may make a big building of 6 stories. Other may make a single independent house. और उनका संवेदना वैसा है. Some can make a shopping complex, some can make a school, some can make it as a playground. कोई वहाँ बगीचा बनाएगा, कोई फैक्ट्री लगाएगा, कोई सब्जियां उगाएगा. यथा संवित. And this person who made the house, he himself can make one more story above. और एक बना सकता है. कभी उनको बोर लगा तो सब निकाल के एक बड़ा अपार्टमेंट बनाएगा. सारा डिसमेंटल करके ही कैन मेक ए स्केटिंग ग्राउंड देयर. हर एक कुछ भी हो सकता है. That ground is our chitta. In that, whatever sankalpana you do, those things are projected. And this chitta is what? Chit, pure consciousness, objectified is chitta. So too, the chitta, when it is objectified, it ceases to exist, revealing the chitta, the self. These are the few things when we digest in Vedanta, goes to help us a lot. Next, key from here onwards, this chitta, is such a subtle matter. Ki it can go and occupy anything in the world. It can take any shape. It can appear as anything. Like any material, the gold, it can be molded into any of the ornaments. It is sent even in the satellites also. It's a gold is the main material. A thin layer is kept there for its own purpose and work. है कि नहीं? जैसे स्टील है, हाँ उसको आप स्क्रू से लेकर चम्मच से लेकर के क्या क्या बड़ा बर्तन बनाते हो. So too, This chitta, which is not stula like this sukshma, can also take any forms. Again, all the stula forms too. This is said in this next ek do teen, ek 6-7 श्लोकों. It's a big list of things. That is the freedom of chitta, that it can, through its sankalpa, take any shape. I'll tell you one. Vasatitra sarenvantar dhriyate gaganodare liyate ankura kosheshu rasi bhavati pallavaye. This chitta vasati trasarenu antaha. Trasarenus, you know, that microparticles which are seen only when the light from outside into a dark room enters. In that beam of the light, what those hanging suspended dust particles you see, they are called as Trasarenu. Chitta alone is taking that Trasarenu Rupa. See, Vasati Trasarenu Antar. Then Dhriyate Gaganodare itself can again become one with the Akasha. It is the Akasha. Akasha is Chitta only. Chitta only is taking the shape of Akasha. Then Liyate Ankura Kosheshu. Ana? In an Ankura, a bija, in a seedling, in that also it can enter. Interesting is what? Rasi Bhavati Pallave. In a tender leaf, that rasa which is there, the liquidity, the sapidity in that, you know, कोई भी लीफ को आप ऐसा करोगे वो आपको हाथ को गीला गीला लगेगा. That rasa which is there in that leaf, giving life and intactness to that leaf, in that rupa the chitta only takes. In that way, some 20 examples are given. Tomorrow we'll see all of them. So here, pure consciousness, then the samskara vasanas, then according to that, the stuff called as chitta is molded only into this whole gross world. Otherwise, other than the chitta, gross world is not real. And other than the pure consciousness, chitta is not real. Therefore, the chitta misunderstood or interpreted is gross world. Consciousness misunderstood is the chitta. Consciousness, the real self, is always as it is intact. Realizing it is our goal. In that path, first step is to get exposed to the presence of it. Start understanding it, having faith in it. These are the things we are doing through our these studies. In the next step, the desire to reach to that. Then you reach to your Guru, he will tell you the guidance. All bhakti sadhanas, yoga sadhanas, सब जो भी जरूरत है गुरु कहेंगे वो सब करके you have to reach to that. And not to reach to anything, whatever the path to be followed has to be followed. है कि नहीं? एक बड़ी आशा कड़ी बनाना है मानो साउथ नॉर्थ है ना पंजाबी कड़ी बनाना है कड़ी. अब when you make पंजाबी कड़ी, it has its own processes to be followed. अब दक्षिण भारत का सांबार बनाना है तो that is steps, everything. Everything steps होते हैं, ingredients होते हैं, कौन सा कब डालना होता है to bring out a beautiful fragrant thing. और कुछ चीज बनाना है तो उसका अपना है. So to realize the self, to the wherever we stay in our intellectual status, from there, whatever the things have to be done, the Guru makes us do. We reach to that. Like from a stone, if somebody wants to carve out Ganapati picture is imagined, unwanted is removed, the existing Ganapati manifests. If it is Subramanya, he will do that. If it is Hanumanji, he will do that. Here also, the Guru will see that all things to be removed, required to be kept are kept. Like in the Ganapati Murti, by chiseling what's not required is removed. And again by the finer tuning, whatever the paints that are required, that are applied. Krishna Vasudeva. Right? May the divine continue guiding us. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadayo Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो परम ऋषिभ्यो परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे नमः। तत्सद्ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु। थैंक यू। वाक्यवृत्ति आइए।